that they could impart. And it's interesting. Noam Chomsky never gives you, for example, any of these people, they never tell you anything inspiring. Like, for example, most of the conversation, and this was a 4-hour talk, most people there, they already knew how they were going to promote identity politics. So there was not a lot of emphasis on identity politics. One of the greatest emphasis, for example, was on, well, how are we going to disparage the Russian Revolution? He said, this is very important and very central, he said. I mean, come on. The greatest thing that ever happened in the French Revolution is they chopped the heads of the royalty. In the Russian Revolution, not only did they kill the Tsar, but they hung the bankers and the large landlords. Working class people would, of course, be all for such a revolution. Come on, it's the first time that they actually instituted a 48 and later 40-hour work week and a lot of the benefits that we see today. Remember that in 1917, Americans were working 10 to 12 hours a day from the age of 3.5. And so his point was that we cannot attack the Russian Revolution at this point. It was just too brazen. He said the way to do it is to attack Stalin. We have to make people equate Hitler with Stalin. And he mentioned, of course, Robert Conquest. He said Robert Conquest has already opened those doors. He said 10 years ago, there were people still alive.
Yeah,
Robert Conquest.
Just to keep it, because we don't want to lose people here. Look, the bottom line is you went to an event in 1993 and Noam Chomsky, the quote unquote radical academic, was telling other academics that we must demoralize people from ever building a bottoms-up movement of working people, period. So that's
the way to do it. Yeah, one of the ways to do it was to rewrite history.
Right. So to everyone listening, you have an eyewitness account, and the other eyewitness account is me. When I was at MIT, Chomsky, I was known as, I was a leader on campus. We're building a bottoms-up movement on campus. No different. This is, Jesus, 40 years ago. And everyone said, oh, you, doctor, at that time it was just Shiva. They said, Shiva, you should meet with Noam Chomsky. Noam will guide you. So I met with Chomsky at I was very interested in studying the caste system. After about a year, I was 18 years old. I'm sitting in Chomsky's office after I had to submit this project. And I said, so Professor Chomsky, what do you think is going to happen to the world? This is now 1983. And he looks at me and he goes, well, we live in the cul-de-sac of human history. Human beings are just going to kill themselves. There's not much you can do. So I'm looking at this guy and I'm like, what the fuck? I just wasted a year with this idiot. And he's telling me that I should just not do anything. And if you go to a Noam Chomsky talk, he'll give you all this information in footnoted detail. Oh, yeah. And he'll put his hand like this and he'll go, ha, ha, ha. Yes. The U.S. imperialist government in Latin America, we did this and this, and we brutalized the Chilean people. And, we put the Chilean protesters into the walls of the stadium and we killed them all. Oh, ha, ha. And then we went over to, Israel and, U.S. imperialism, complete, and he'll go on and on and on. After 3 hours of listening to a Noam Chomsky talk, you will see people walking out of there. Wow, the U.S. is so powerful. What can I do? Let me just go and just, make some avocado and cheese sandwich and just fucking kill myself. That's how you leave. And what Jessica is confirming is that the establishment, on purpose, and by the way, Noam Chomsky is made a professor of professors. There's only 4 people get the promotion, institute professor at MIT. You have assistant professor, associate professor, tenured professor, institute professor. And I always wondered, why he was given such accolades and he gets to write this books. And it was because he was created by the swarm for the swarm. So when Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson are doing this, this is deliberate. This is not something accidental. It is a CIA psychological operation that's taking place. And to intersect it, in summary, what Jessica's saying is to make sure that we as working people never, ever, ever build a bottoms-up movement. And right now, because the movement for truth, freedom, and health exists, there is immense effort, incredible effort going into manipulate people into thinking someone else is going to do the movement for you, okay? In particular, they are promoting Booby effing Kennedy, who literally, I can show you 50 examples, including his slogan, "Declare your independence," which is our slogan on all of our posters since 2018. He literally steals my words, plagiarizes my content, because they know people are breaking and coming to the movement for truth, freedom, health, the true revolutionary movement. And so they are teeing up these people to act like they are revolutionaries, to talk like they are anti-establishment. So you will outsource your actions to them. So I'm going to start with Nicholas Lupo. Nicholas, every one of the people in our movement, the hundreds of thousands of people, are all working people, actually work for a living. Let me repeat, actually work for a living or did work for a living, which means any retirement savings they have was done by their own sweat and blood. They didn't like just take welfare accounts or, move capital around like, Booby Kennedy or his families. So I'm going to ask Nicholas to share his experience with what he was doing with Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson before he came to our movement, what our movement has taught him, his journey. But Nicholas, begin by sharing a little bit about the fact what you do, that you actually work for a living, and then talk about what you do now. And if our movement wasn't there, what you would be doing. Go ahead, Nicholas.
Yes. Good evening, Dr. Shiva and everyone. So I'm an electrician and I specialize in fire alarm systems. And so I came across Truth, Freedom, Health movement. It was last year during the summer. And, I was a big Joe Rogan fan. Joe Rogan, I used to watch him regularly, weekly, his interviews with Alex Jones, whatever guest he has on. And I came across Dr. Shiva exposing him, exposing Joe Rogan and how, he's just there basically to just entertain us, just to not, to practice learned helplessness. And, I was just, in disbelief, he's just, Joe Rogan's just, wow, just like he bamboozling me, and it made me realize like I have to get off my ass and start to, do something about it and become a leader, and then I came across, joined the Truth, Freedom, Health movement. And, I just didn't want to be misled anymore, and I was being fooled. And so now, I run the state of Kentucky. And, right now we need 5,000 signatures to get on the ballot in Kentucky. And, right now, our deadline is September 6th. And, I do that. And on top of that, work full time as an electrician, and, I don't get paid for this. I do this because I care about, people deeply. I have great empathy for people. I think about all the people that impacted my life. It wasn't celebrities. It wasn't, Hollywood actors. It wasn't, social media influencers. It was just everyday working people. It's my family, my friends, my neighbor down the street, my high school teacher. These are the people who I care about and that impacted me the most. It wasn't Joe Rogan. It wasn't Tucker Carlson, So that's why I'm in the movement, and I'm trying to make a change. And action defines character. So that's why I'm here. So that's all I gotta say. Thanks.
So Nicholas, to everyone listening, the movement for truth, freedom, health is the only force on this planet that can really change things for working people. Nicholas, you've gone through training, right? You understand political theory, systems theory now, right? You've gone
the
through
science of systems and how the elites use the science of systems to manipulate us and to put all these certain inputs into our system to make us fat, dumb, and lazy, essentially, right? And not get off our ass and do something about it.
One of the things people need to recognize is one of the biggest snakes in the modern 20th century is a guy called Henry Kissinger. People may not know this, but Henry Kissinger is the one who gave a job to another evil snake called Netanyahu. And Kissinger was brought into the White House by none other than another big organized crime head, John F. Kennedy, okay, who they try to make as a martyr. But John Kennedy is the one who brought Kissinger in. So Kissinger, Kennedy, Netanyahu, all these people are very, very closely connected. And Booby Kennedy's a big Zionist, Trump is a big Zionist, Biden's a big Zionist. But you need to recognize that when you understand the science of systems, as Nicholas learning, you get a very deep understanding of the physics of this. Nicholas, you were also arrested, weren't you, for trying to exercise your constitutional right to collect signatures?
Yes, I was arrested on January 7th, yeah, trying to collect signatures for your campaign. And, funny enough, it was my first time ever collecting signatures, for anything, so, and, yeah, I got arrested, it was in Franklin, Kentucky. And, I just basically, the manager came and basically told me I had to leave. I had a prune yard ruling there, on my clipboard. Tried to show the manager, I have the right to be here. This is a Supreme Court ruling. This is my First Amendment right. We are allowed to collect signatures in front of a retailer as long as you're not blocking anybody, obstructing anybody coming in and out of a retailer. It becomes a town square. I tried to explain that to them, and then, they didn't want to listen. They called the supervisor. Supervisors didn't want to listen. Then the cops came. And then ultimately I stood my ground. I was just, I felt like I was in the right, and I didn't want to get bullied. It was just like, I'm just collecting signatures. I'm not bothering nobody. It's like it's like, this is ridiculous, And then they handcuffed me, and they took me to jail. And when they took me to jail, they strip searched me. They cavity searched me. They they put me in jail clothes. They threw me in a jail cell with 12 other people, and luckily I wasn't in there for that long, a couple hours. Then they released me. And, when they gave me all my stuff back, when I checked my wallet, I realized, oh, wow, they stole my money. I had like $100 in my wallet. And, I had to walk back to my car, and, it's January, it's in January, middle of, the winter, it was like an hour and a half walk. So, yeah, it's crazy what happened. It's ridiculous.
Not only that, people need to understand, and on top of that, right, Nicholas, in spite of all that abuse that they put you through, Kentucky home, none other than Rand fucking Paul, libertarian Rand Paul. It's a red state, and Thomas Massie, who they promote as constitutionalists. Right when that occurred, we did a live like this, and hundreds of calls came into that police station to ask for your release, which helped get your release. But Thomas Massie and Paul did nothing in their own state. So it was working people who came together to help Nicholas out. We funded Nicholas's lawsuit, working people who gave donations. Trump didn't do that. He had still put his people in jail. Our movement stands by our people. That's what working people do.
The only people that are going to look out for us is us, working people. It's not going to be these people. It's not going to Joe Rogan, Fucker Carlson, all these people. They're not going to look out for us. It's just everyday working people have to look out for each other. That's why I'm involved.
Yep. So I wanted everyone to hear this. So Nicholas is an electrician who's learned political theory, systems theory, the most sophisticated stuff, and then he gets on the ground and does the work. Fucker Carlson doesn't do this. Joe Rogan doesn't do this. He lives out in Malibu. He hangs out with UFC. He's a fucker. So please, any influencer who's retweeting Joe Rogan and thinking, or Tucker Carlson thinking they're heroes, they're all suspect. They do not work for a living. They don't. All right, let me go over to Sonia Frederick. Sonia has had quite a diverse career, and Sonia will tell you her career. Sonia, go on. And then, oh, by the way, before Nicholas, if you weren't, you started saying you used to watch a lot of Joe Rogan videos, and then you can't. If our movement didn't exist, Nicholas, what would you be doing right now at 10:51 on a Saturday evening? What would you be doing right now?
Probably just playing video games, or just sitting back, just watching a Joe Rogan podcast for 3 hours, wasting my time. Just
right,
practicing learned helplessness, I guess. So
yeah. Great, thanks. Let me bring up Sonia Frederick. Sonia is an incredible woman, mother, all sorts of things. So Sonia, maybe you can just tell people a little bit about your background, Sonia.
Okay, hi, good evening, everyone. I went to school for engineering and was in that field, civil engineering, was in that field until I started a family, got married and started a family, and then I was a stay-at-home mom. During that time, I had a hard time not exercising my brain the way I wanted to, so I ended up filing for a patent on a protective item for little kids in shopping carts. And then I joined my husband, and we ran a small business in Virginia for 35 years, and we just last year sold that business. It was a florist. A lot of hard work, and moved to North Carolina. So I've been in North Carolina for about a year. I never watched a lot of the news and TV. When I was a young child, I didn't think the two-party system was a good idea. I could see all the division. And when Trump became president, where I lived in Virginia, it got really bad, and the division was really bad. And then I really checked out. I took cable out of our house and said, we're not watching the news anymore, and wouldn't let my kids really around it or anything. And then when COVID hit, I started looking for answers. And that's when I knew of Dr.SHIVA, followed him a little during his Senate run, but I really needed some answers. So I started following then, and then I knew I needed to do something. I needed to get involved. Unfortunately, I couldn't do that running the small business. So pretty much as soon as I moved to North Carolina, I hit the ground running. So now I'm here collecting signatures and making phone calls. I've met a lot of wonderful people, and I'm really enjoying it.
So Sonia, if our movement didn't exist, what would you be doing right now?
Well, at 10:30, probably sleeping. But yeah, I probably, like I said, I probably would be doing the learned helplessness thing like Nicholas, just looking for answers and not really knowing. But I took the Foundations of Systems class, and it really opens your mind, and you're able to see disturbances and, learn who's feeding you a line and who's not.
Yeah, so we're gonna come back and speak to Emily, who's a nurse, Saber, who's a truck driver, Bosman, who's a computer scientist, Suresh, who's an IT worker. Everyone in our movement works for a living. Booby Kennedy doesn't work for a living. All the people around him are paid political hacks. He's having some scumbag watch this video, and then they'll do a little live like this. Okay? Everything he does is to mimic our movement, because people are leaving the establishment and they're saying these people are the real deal. So they're just like chameleons mimicking it. But everyone listening, you have to, if you made it this far, you need to at minimum come to our open house, which we host every Thursdays. Every Thursdays at 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. Write this down. It's right down there. You can go to vashiva.com/orientation and get involved. Show up to the open house. Now, those of you who already get it, you better get a bumper sticker and put it on your car. And then finally, I'm going to play you a quick video, and we'll be back. But you really need to recognize that we have created the infrastructure, the movement, so you don't have to have learned helplessness like Sonia talked about. You don't have to think, you don't have to whine, oh my God, what am I going to do? Oh, fucker, ooh, poor fucker Carlson. I thought he was my great white hope. Well, he isn't. Okay. The only future is us, as Nicholas said, coming together. Okay. So
we have
listen to this
allowed
video.
our country to be taken over from within. And the end goal is you will have a homogenized world where we will become slaves, because there is a condition among the elites that really thinks they're better than you, deep down inside them, that you don't deserve the freedoms you have. They don't. This reality is what people need to wake up to. And we need to all unite, working people. There's only one movement that can do that. And that is the movement that we started creating here in Massachusetts, the movement for truth, freedom, and health. Look, I've been a student of politics since I was a 4-year-old kid, studying revolutionary movements, left wing, right wing. There's a physics, there's a nuclear science to destroying the establishment. To build a bridge, you need to understand Newton's equation. You need to understand the laws of gravity. You need to understand Poisson's ratio. There is a way to build a revolution. And that's why I put this together. My goal is to train an army of truth, freedom, and health leaders. We don't need followers like social media. We need leaders, but they need training because the educational system does not teach them history, nothing. So in 3 hours, that's what I've started doing. That's the solution. We got to train people first with understanding what a system is, the dynamics of all systems that affect nature. The second is understanding the interconnection between truth, freedom, and health. Freedom is the ability to move freely, communicate freely, talk freely. Without freedom, you cannot convert ideas, hypothesis into truth, which is science. And without freedom, you can't really get to truth. And without truth, you make up fake problems and fake solutions, which means you destroy our health. And without health, which is the infrastructure of us and our body, you can't fight for freedom. Truth, freedom, health. Third concept is it has to be bottoms up. Working people, people who work uniting. And what the right wing has done is whenever you say working people unite, that must be communist. Meanwhile, they've let the Democrats run unions, which suppress workers, completely corrupt. But when you look at the arc of American history, it's been when working people came up. We need to go local. Every solution I'm coming up with as a part of this movement, we're giving the science, which is the truth, and then we tell people what they can do on the ground. Like with election fraud, you don't need to wait for some lawyer. Our goal is to train people to go local, to go local, to go local, fight locally. Forget lawyers, forget politicians, forget celebrities. You've got to learn politics, and there is a science to it. They lock us down, we should be ready to shut them down. And the fourth part of this principle is the not so obvious establishment. So when you look at a system, there's always something that disturbs you from getting to your goal. Well, the biggest disturbance is the not so obvious establishment, which are those people who claim they're for you, on the left and the right. The Al Sharptons who tell black people I'm for you. The Tucker Carlsons. Do you think any true anti-establishment person will ever be on Fox or CNN? I don't think so. They both mislead working people back into the establishment. Without this solid understanding of political physics and theory, you're screwed. You're going to follow on the left wing, Bernie Sanders. Oh, he said something. Or Robert Kennedy. Scumbags. Or you're going to follow some right-wing talk show host. They're not going to lead us to liberation. It's us. We're building a bottoms-up movement. And that political physics, it's a nuclear science of change. Bottoms up. We have to organize to understand that there is people who talk a good game and then look at what they actually do, left and right. I'm sorry, Sean Hannity may say some good things, but I don't see the urgency in his voice to get something done. And it can only come when you weaponize yourself with the right knowledge. You need to be able to identify a rat. You know, Christ didn't go after the Romans, right? It was the Pharisees and the Sadducees who screwed him up. His own quote unquote people. And that's where we're at. So these four concepts I've built into a curriculum where people can go to truthfreedomhealth.com, and it's an educational program. We need to train people in political theory. You need to have physics. And I've created that curriculum. People need to get educated. We need to get educated fast. And within a half an hour, I can teach people. 2 years of MIT control systems, I teach people those concepts. Then I apply it, anyone can understand it. And then you say, oh, I got to build a bottoms-up movement. They have to get politically astute, and then they have to go locally and act, not sit there on social media. They have to act locally, defy locally, do civil obedience locally, but with knowledge on how to build a movement. The Senate campaign's expanded to the movement for truth, freedom, and health, and they can find it on truthfreedomhealth.com. So people can sign in, they can get access to a bunch of videos. If they want to take a course and become a truth, freedom, health leader, I offer a full scholarship there, but we want people to make a commitment that they'll study, that they'll get certified, that they'll go do activities on the ground. So go to truthfreedomhealth.com.
up with some couple of other important voices from our Truth from Health movement. Again, those of you joining, we're really speaking about the two scumbags. There's many of them of deception, but the two ones that are being promoted heavily are Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan. Let's go over to Suresh. Suresh, I think it'd be really valuable, and then we'll go to Saber, and then Emily in Boston. Suresh, why don't you share with you what you do? You know, you work for a living, right? You're not a trust fund kid, I assume, and how you came across, and you know what you do now. Suresh has literally become the regional leader for all of the Northeast, and then you know, share with people, if our movement didn't exist, what you would do, and any other wise comments that you have. Go ahead.
Yep. Thank you, Dr. Shiva, for giving me the opportunity. I'm basically an information technology professional. I work with computers, fine-tune them, ensure they're up and running, work with clients, troubleshoot problems. So that's my everyday, day-to-day daily job. And I'm here in New York. I'm originally from India. I came across Dr. Shiva in 2019 when COVID occurred. 2020, Dr. Shiva was the first person to raise the alarm. Basically, he was screaming from the rooftop, "Hey, don't do shutdown!" And he did a really famous tweet, which I still remember. And then he got 140,000 signatures to fire Fauci. He was the first one who came up with the fire Fauci hashtag. Went hand-delivered to Trump, all those signatures. Also helped people, did videos every day, how to take care of themselves, support your body with all the nutrition and minerals, and build community. Don't just sit in the home, talk to friends, which was basically the opposite of what the government was saying. They were saying, oh, stay at home, don't see each other, don't talk to anybody. It was insane for normal people, but that's what was happening. And Dr. Shiva, because of the systems approach that he takes, he doesn't take the left and right approach. He basically takes the approach that the universe takes, doesn't talk about feelings, see things as they truly are. So I was very glad I came across him. If it was not, if I didn't come across him, I would be watching the late night morons, comedy shows, some gobbledygook shit that they talk about, just like Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson, other morons like billionaires, Elon Musk, or this other billionaire guy with the golden fixtures, golden toilet, Trump, hoping he would do something, other imbeciles. I would be just wasting my limited time that I have on Earth, listening to nonsense from celebrities. Oh, what are they going to do? Are they doing something? So thankfully, I discovered Dr. Shiva, and it helped me build my character. Basically, he talking to him, conversing with him every day, and watching his actions. His life has basically been about solutions, and I learned a lot from him and from amazing people here in the movement, that you cannot just be always consuming and taking, accumulating. You have to give back. You cannot be a parasite. That's something, one of the top things that I learned, and also doing the right thing at the right time. You cannot come 2 years later after the house has burned down saying, oh, I'm here, firefighter with fake abs, and like saying, okay, what do I do now? So Dr. Shiva put his reputation, his business, everything on the line when COVID hit, and when the GMO, Dr. Shiva went through every crisis, 2008, killing innocent people, others on the other side of the planet, Iran, Iraq, now here in Israel, Palestine. Dr. Shiva has always been educating people about what's happening. 2008, what happened? 2019, billionaires doubling their, tripling their wealth. Basically, these are highs People need to get smarter. That's what the movement is about. Making
So
people,
Suresh, I think you made an interesting comment. The elites are basically stealing money from working people every 4 to 8 years.
yeah,
2008, I think you mentioned they heisted money, and then in 2016 they heisted money. In 2008, there's a massive transfer of wealth. This is what people really need to understand. I think you have now become a very important part of this movement. You're mentoring other people. You've helped build infrastructure. And I think the most important thing is you're acting. You're working as a full-time engineer, but then you put a substantial amount of time into helping what we're doing. So that's really commendable. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Without action, we can learn everything that we want. We can go books in the all the library world, but nothing will change if we don't take action. Like a tree is judged, a tree is known by its fruits. If you don't take any action, then you're just, it's like an illiterate person and person who is literate but doesn't read, they're same. So it's not useful if you're not practicing everything that you're learning, and especially helping fellow humans, and pushing humanity forward, not letting these people heist all these hardworking people's money. Like Dr. Shiva has mentioned, we have tremendous brain power. We should be creating wormholes to go to other worlds, but
I think the point I was making is that under the current model of imperialism, monopoly capitalism, most of human labor is spent in. I mean, if you just look, we're all wage slaves. I've been fortunate. I've started to create my own inventions and tools, but everyday people, if you really look back at what is their life going into, all these software programs, what are they actually programming? They're programming stuff to actually build our own digital cages, right? If you're working for Google, if you're working for Facebook as an engineer, you're actually building the tools to enslave yourself. So incredible amounts of human endeavor, time, energy is going to doing nonsensical things. Twitter is not an innovation. Okay, right? The world has not created any significant innovations for a long time because so much of human capital and energy is going to essentially do things so the swarm can enslave us. That's where people are putting their energy into. Imagine if human beings, from the time a human being is born, they are given infinite capabilities, to do what a human being's for. My point was we should be probably doing quite incredible things, things that we can't even dream of. I mean, we think this iPhone is quite spectacular, right? But this is just scratching the surface of what human beings could be doing. Jackals, and I don't think we fully understand that. But anyway, Suresh, thank you. But again, Suresh is a full-time IT worker, and then he's got another job, which is helping build this movement. Let's go over to Emily. Emily Cross really heads up a lot of the stuff of the education piece. Emily, can you share with people who you are, what you do, heading up a lot of helping people in the South, but the fact that you're day-to-day helping build this movement. Go ahead, Emily.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emily, and my background is in healthcare since I was 20 years old, in skincare. And I came across Dr. Shiva in March of 2020, listening to his Fire Fauci campaign and debate of Fauci on the immune system. And unfortunately, Dr. Fauci didn't show up, but his verbatim, what he said to everyone every day on camera on the mainstream fake media news, his answers were basically replied because he didn't have the gumption to show up. And listening to Dr. Shiva's responses about the modern immune system made lots of sense, and what his recommendations were made lots of sense. So I started following Dr. Shiva then, and then I became a Truth Freedom Health Warrior in May of 2021, just before his hearing, his First Amendment lawsuit hearing, where Tucker Carlson actually had the opportunity to cover that First Amendment lawsuit, but he refused and declined to share that information with the world at a very important time that would have made a big difference had he chose to cover that, but instead he chose to conceal it and didn't cover Dr. Shiva's lawsuit. And instead he waited till 3 years later when it became a limited hangout, and still to this day has not covered the full depth of that infrastructure to the public, and still tries to conceal it and limit that information being out there. So I became a leader, went through the leadership training program in that initial rollout of the Truth, Freedom, Health Leadership Program, and have been working and supporting in various areas of the movement ever since, and still do to this day, helping to mentor and onboard other people into the curriculum and help Dr. Shiva with teaching some of the curriculum so that he has more time to do other things to help build the movement.
Emily, can you tell us, if the movement didn't exist, what would you be doing?
Honestly, I would probably still be doing the same thing that I used to do, because I've never been a TV junkie. I didn't know who Joe Rogan was the first time you mentioned Joe Rogan, because I grew up without a TV, thankfully. So I still to this day don't have much patience to sit and watch entertainment on TV, because I've always been somewhat solution oriented, and I always like working and doing new things or helping people with issues that they're having. So I'd probably be working on some new project before I go to bed at 3 a.m.
But you wouldn't have a movement, right? You'd probably be in some limited way working it, right? That's the point. Anyway, let me just, to what Emily was referring to give everyone sort of the level setting here. In 2020, our movement exposed the entire in this historic lawsuit. We exposed the entire censorship infrastructure in this. And if people go to winbackfreedom.com, you can see this. When I was thrown off Twitter in the middle of my Senate campaign, it turned out that it was this entire infrastructure that we exposed in federal lawsuit. This woman, Michelle Tassinari, threw me off Twitter, not by herself, but she used this entire infrastructure of the elections infrastructure at ISAC, which was created by the deep state of people at Harvard, MIT, Stanford, funded by Pierre Omidyar, funded by the Zuckerbergs, funded by the Fox News people, supported by all the media companies. So I was essentially thrown off by this infrastructure, and that led me to discovering this infrastructure. And we shared this with Tucker Carlson after I won a very important part of our lawsuit. And and here are all of those emails. So this is firsthand account. In October of 2020, I'm telling Tucker, sorry, I didn't get his name right. It's Fucker Carlson. Sorry about that. We filed this $1.2 billion lawsuit. And then I said, look, we got a landmark victory. And this is in October 3rd. You should cover this. Nothing. And then after we exposed the entire thing, I said, first case to show government makes Twitter silence political speech. This is in May, right? 5 months later, nothing. And here's our win in federal court. And then Tucker Carlson waits until 2022, okay? Nearly 3 years later. And then interviews this guy, Lee Fang, who essentially plagiarized my lawsuit at The Intercept, and Tucker Carlson has him on TV to millions of people, and he's saying, wow, this seems like a really important story, which for some reason is being ignored. He ignored it, okay? So this is a quality, the nature of Tucker Carlson. He's a deceiver. He's an absolute fucker, okay? He's an actor. You have to understand, you don't make it to this level unless you can act and manipulate people. That is why he gets his job. That is why Trump has his job. That is why Booby Kennedy has their jobs. They are professional actors. It's hard to believe this because you believe you live in a free country. No, America has become a country of mind control of masses of people, you actors. Tucker Carlson is an actor. That's right there, eyewitness. Ooh, I didn't know. How he knew. He has the emails. He's got everything. Okay, let's go over to. I want to wrap up. It's getting a little bit late, and we appreciate all you guys hanging in there. It's on a Saturday, and you could all be spending time with your family. So let me go to Basin Naga, a young gentleman who's a computer scientist out of Washington. Basin, tell people what you were doing before our movement, and a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, so I have an educational background in computer science. In 2021, I was having a lot of difficulty finding a job in the field, and I started to watch a lot of podcasts because I didn't like what was going on with the lockdowns and the mandates. And I'm also a type 1 diabetic, so I had a strong interest in healthcare and the cost of insulin and healthcare in general. So I like to watch a lot of Jimmy Dore because he claimed that he was for universal healthcare. He claimed that he was against the mandates. I watched him for 2 years. And then last year in August, Dr.SHIVA came on a podcast I was watching. And he said that he organized against the lockdowns in 2020. I didn't know about that. He said that he had the Fire Fauci campaign where he demanded Donald Trump fire Fauci. I didn't know that at the time. And at the end of the interview, he said, fuck Jimmy Dore. He won't have me on. And I couldn't reconcile that in my mind because it seemed to me he agreed with everything he was saying. So I thought that video was going to go viral. It did not. You'd never know Dr.SHIVA existed looking at his feed. And then I went down a rabbit hole watching his videos, and I learned about the not so obvious establishment and how they make figures that seem like they're one of us, but they're not actually. They're actually a disturbance to help the establishment get power, profit, control. They're grifters. And I'm now organizing in Washington State to get Dr.SHIVA on the ballot. We're going to get 1,600 signatures, and we're going to get started collecting in 2 weeks.
Basin, I think it's really fascinating. Someone just said Jimmy Dore is vax cattle. Jimmy actually got vaxxed too, okay? He's promoting masks also, right? And so when the shit was hitting the fan, if you go look at his feed, he was part of all of this. And then after that, he started acting like he was against this. And what's interesting is, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, that when I hit Kennedy hard, and I have the tweet, Jimmy Dore came to my feed and called me an asshole.
Yep.
Okay.
I knew that.
Yeah. And then recently he said people that I'm mean. That's why he won't put me on. Incredible, right? Well, Jimmy Dore has a luxury of not being mean because if you actually ask him his calendar, he hangs out with all these people. These people are all of his friends. They go to the same parties in New York, etc. They need to be in these circles. So to the extent they talk about this, it's to build viewership. So, I think, Basin, your journey is one of an important one because it's self-reflective. There are a lot of people who listen to Jimmy Dore and listen to the reality of the journey that I've gone through. And will say, well, why is Dr.SHIVA being so angry? Why can't they work together? They don't understand. You have understood this scientific concept of the not so obvious establishment. People who don't get that keep excusing these people, thinking they're fundamentally on our side. They're not on our side because they do not say the right thing at the right time. They wait and they wait and they wait. So it's so Basin, if we didn't have our movement, I'm gonna have to ask, what would you be doing right now? Watching Jimmy Dore.
I'd be watching Jimmy Dore and Joe Rogan all day, depressed, because I wouldn't have a sense of what the solutions are.
Right.
And now I know it's about building a bottoms-up movement.
Yeah, and I think that's the most important thing. That's what I would say to all those people who are listening right now. We have about 3,500 people. Think about what you would be doing. You would be watching Jimmy Dore. Okay? You'd be watching Joe Rogan. You're thinking Tucker Carlson is the saint because he's exposing stuff. And that is what's going on. This is all highly deliberate. It is designed. They're not shadow banned. I'm shadow banned. Okay? And that's why the future is offline. All right. Let's wrap up with Saber. Saber is a truck driver out of Michigan. So Saber, tell us your journey. Go ahead.
Good evening, Dr.SHIVA. Good evening, everyone. Yes, actually, I came across your movement. It was quite a passionate subject for you about Zionism. And, the first moment, kind of a big turnaround for me when they passed CISA under Trump, and I saw the blatant, censorship that even went online on steroids. So that for me was a big hit, and I didn't realize how big of a problem it was until I randomly came across one of your videos on YouTube, and I was still very skeptical because I hear you talk about Zionism and Christian Zionism. I was like, I think he's really hitting on all the important points. And I kind of watched a lot of your videos, and across a few, like a month or two, I started noticing that your channel wasn't growing. Even you're not having any new followers on Twitter. So I recognized, okay, he's hitting on Zionism. He's been very consistent. So there's definitely something you are doing very correct. And sure enough, I got involved and realized that I was just at the tip of the iceberg when I came across your movement online, Dr.SHIVA. And I'm a warrior scholar, and journey to get to this point because it taught me a lot, meeting incredible people like Suresh, like Nicholas Lupo, which, is very humbling, and we're all on the same journey in a way. But the censorship is really what is striking to me. And it's, I tell everyone, if I have enough time to spend 55, 60 hours on the road and I still fit in time to, get educated on that level and get involved in the movement, you absolutely can as well, everyone. So.
Yeah, so I think the key point, I think you made something very, very spectacular statement. Saber worked 60, 70 hours on the road as a truck driver, moving America's goods. And on top of it, he came to Cambridge to a 3-day workshop. And on top of it, studies all this stuff. So anyone out there who says, oh, yeah, I support Dr., but I don't have the time, where you're being fucking lazy. Get off your butt. And if you made it this far, don't be fucking lazy. That's what that is. That's called laziness. That means you get it, but you don't want to do the work. So for God's sakes, get off your butt and do the work, because we have to build a bottoms-up movement. The deception that's going on, and remember, it's very hard when you're in a fishbowl. You have to have a lot of self-reflection to know that you're one of the fish in the polluted fishbowl. So everyone you're listening to here, Nicholas, an electrician, Suresh, an IT worker, Bazin, someone trained in computer science, Sonia, engineering background, Mother, entrepreneur, Emily, a nurse, Saber, a truck driver. All of these people have time because they get it, and they're leading other people. This is truly a people's movement, bottoms up. So if you made it this far and you like everything you're saying, get involved. Come to our open house that we do. Trey will put up the open house, vashiva.com/orientation. Right there. It's right there. Write it down and come to the fucking open house and get involved. Go to Shiva for President. Volunteer, volunteer, volunteer. What we're looking at is we working people building our movement. And there is an us versus them. There's no kumbaya here. We have to build this movement, and that is what we're doing. We have no choice. Okay? That's what we got to do. Okay? And I want to, play this video here, because the key thing in this, the reason we call Rogan and Tucker Carlson scumbags of deception is they have a history of never talking about the right thing at the right time. And foolish people, now it's in vogue to tell the truth all the time. Oh, he's telling the truth. I'm a truth. People wearing hats called truth. Vivek the snake, complete snake, wearing a hat called truth. Truth is, the swarm is so disgusting. They'll even take something like truth and destroy truth. But the litmus test right now is, who is really exposing Zionism and what it is? Our movement is. And if you want to really understand that, let me just share with you. This is the video that We did, okay, at the right time. All right. And this is a very provocative video. It's gotten close to, you know, in spite of all the shadow banning, it's probably got 1.5 billion views. It says 1.4 million views. But let me play this for everyone, because you really need to understand the level of shadow banning. And in spite of that, our movement is finding incredible people like Sonia and Nicholas and Boston that you're seeing out there. So let me play this. You know, it's a somewhat of a funny one, but it's not funny. It's quite powerful. It really every presidential candidate except me sucks Zionist cock. That may not sound presidential, but in fact it's very presidential, because I represent the American worker who does not want us to be cocksuckers of Zionism. Donald Trump sucks Zionist cock, Nikki Haley sucks Zionist cock, Vivek the Snake sucks Zionist cock, Chris Christie, Booby fucking Kennedy, Joe Biden, all of these people. The only people that don't suck Zionist cock are the American workers who are being screwed. I'm an American worker. I'm one of us. But Donald Trump is no different than any one of them. They all serve Israel. Bernie Sanders, for example, is an Israeli citizen. Anthony Blinken is an Israeli citizen. The head of the CDC is an Israeli citizen. All of these people are Israeli citizens. All of these people work together against the American working people. There's a lot of liberal Zionists who are out there saying ceasefire, peace now. I've seen that for 40 years. It doesn't get us anywhere. All that ceasefire does is let Israel pull back, then go bomb the shit out of the Palestinians again. The only way to end this is we must end the occupation. Ending the occupation means beginning with ending the occupation of America by Zionism. Zionists have taken over every seat of power of the United States. If we're going to free Palestine, we must end the occupation of America by Zionism. If there's anyone who should get military aid, it should be the Palestinian people. I'm not talking about Hamas, by the way, all those morons who think Hamas represents the Palestinian people. Hamas was created by Israel. When you see Hamas, replace it with Israel. We need to build a bottoms-up movement. Go to shivaforpresident.com and volunteer. So anyway, it's good to end on that video, because that video is about us. And myself, as a leader in this movement and running for president, is the only one who does not suck Zionist cock. Neither does our movement. And it's a very important distinction that everyone must look at. And everyone on this video, and we have thousands of people, are working people who do not also suck Zionist cock, nor are we part of the swarm. And this is what they do not want getting out there. So they have to shadow ban us. They have to mimic us like chameleons. But they never tell the truth at the right time. And you can go, in conclusion, as where we started, go to Joe Rogan's Twitter feed and see if the word Zionism is ever mentioned in any one of his posts. Nope. Go to Tucker Carlson's feed. Is the word Zionism mentioned in any of his posts? Nope. That is deliberate. He can now talk about, the swarm said, okay, fucker, please speak about aliens. They gave him a phone call. CIA called him. Okay, please, fucker, speak about, as though you're some spiritual being, saying that the spiritual beings are here to help us, because you want to get all the new age people thinking fucker is part of them. Please speak about 9/11, because you want to get all the 9/11 conspiracy people to think fucker is working with them. You see, they're going after all the people who are starting to move away from the swarm towards truth, freedom, health, and they want to sucker them back to fucker. That's what this is about. But the problem is we exist, and we're doing this live video at 11:29 p.m. EST, and we got 10 people, 8 people on this phone call, and nearly 4,000 people listening to us. This is very problematic for them. This is a serious problem. And we're going to create that problem. We're going to throw kerosene on that problem for them. And it's going to get worse for them. It's just a matter of time, because our movement exists. And Booby fucking Kennedy, they may even make him president to keep people stuck to the swarm. That's how desperate they're going to get. Mark my words. They'll do anything, because they do not want a bottoms-up working people's movement. Everyone repeat that. They do not want a bottoms-up working people's movement. I'll repeat it third time. That is their central goal. They do not want us leading ourselves. And once you really, really get what I just shared, and you may want to go back and review this video, this scene, this words I just repeated 3 times. They do not want you getting off your butt and joining this movement. They want you, as Nicholas said, if he didn't, he'd be watching video games, or Tucker Carlson or Joe Rogan. Bosin said he'd be doing video games, right? Suresh said he'd probably be at home just hanging out, right? Emily would be in her little world trying to do change, but not collectively connecting with other people. You say they do not want a bottoms-up movement, particularly by those of us who work, seizing their means of production. They do not want that. But if you want that, we're here. Go to truthfreedomhealth.com. You meet incredible people like Sonia in North Carolina, Bosin in Michigan, Nicholas in Kentucky, Suresh in New York, Emily in Tennessee, Bosin in Washington State, Jessica had some computer issues in New Jersey, etc. We're all over the place. And we're going to just keep growing. So get off your butts. Get off your butts. As Kimberly said, let's fucking go. Said as simply as possible. Okay? Let's fucking go. That's the answer. Okay? So anyway, we hope you enjoyed it. Sonia, any final words? Emily, Bosin, Suresh? Go ahead, Suresh. Let's you guys each share any, a couple of sentences. Go ahead, Suresh.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Shiva, for all the wisdom. I recommend everybody to practice discrimination when it comes to people like Joe Rogan and all these grifters who are spinning these wild, fantastic tales about aliens and spiritual stuff. I mean, you have limited time on this earth. Your life is precious. You have been given this precious opportunity. Use it. Don't squander your time. They want to steal your time, your money, everything. Let's not build our own prisons and get accustomed to being in shackles. It is up to us. Let's take responsibilities on our own shoulders. Only then change will occur. As long as we look at others, nothing is going to happen. So we need to take our responsibility. The movement is here. Thanks to Dr. Shiva. Come to the town hall. Dr. Shiva is helping unlock everybody's potential, like education, healthcare, innovation, governance, economy. And we can work together and unlock the society's potential as a whole also. So the movement is here. The only thing needs to be done is you getting off your couch, not looking at others. Don't look at these grifters. They will do this night and day. They sit at night, think, how can we grift more? So become smart. Join the movement. Thanks, Dr. Shiva.
Great. Sonia, any final words?
Just to tell everyone to join the movement. No one's going to save us. It's us.
Nicholas?
No, just to echo what everyone's saying. Yeah, join Truth Freedom Health and .com and become a warrior scholar. Volunteer for ShivaForPresident.com. And we need more volunteers in Kentucky. And I know there was 4,000 people watching. I know some of y'all are in Kentucky, so we'll have a lot of fun collecting signatures. So join and volunteer, and let's fucking go. Let's do this shit.
That's great. Saber?
Yes, I just want to tell everyone, be very careful with the learned helplessness. I was actually stuck in it for years. So actually, you're almost at the finish line if you already came this far, to be interested even in this kind of information. We're almost at the point, they're just going to keep sending distractions your way. So might as well just do the leap, get involved, take action. It's not pretty in the beginning, but you're going to learn a lot. You got to get out of your comfort zone. You'll get to meet with real people. You get to really learn a lot of tangible skills, and you'll be a better human being at the end of it all. And we can all build this society together like how it should have been built a long time ago. So thank you, Dr. Shiva.
Bosin?
Yeah, just you guys have to get past these grifters. It's a business model for them. It's working for them. It's not working for you. And you have to get involved. Come to a town hall. Help us collect signatures. Thank you.
Yeah, we can just before I promised, so I want to make sure those of you, I promised that if people wanted, we do it. We'll take 3 phone calls if people want to. We'll wait about a couple of minutes. So phone number's there. This is my cell number. So if you guys want to call, please call and we'll put you live. Any questions you have to anyone who's spoken, Suresh, myself, Emily, Sonia, Bazin, or Saber. So you can call. So the number is right there if you want to do a quick call in. If not, it may be too late for some of you, but it's 617-631-6874. Don't be shy, but you're welcome to call in if you have a question. Okay? And we'll wait a couple of minutes. As we close out, I want to thank all of you. It's late, and I want to thank you for your participation. Go to Shiva, numeral4president.com, volunteer. Go to truthfreedomhealth.com, become a warrior scholar. You'll have an incredible opportunity to meet people, and most importantly, do what you should be doing for yourselves. All right? No one else is here to save you. But anyway, the number is there if anyone wants to call. If not, someone's calling. We have Andre James. Hello, how are you? Is this Andre James?
Yes, it's Jim.
Go ahead, Jim. What's your question? Please ask it.
Dr. Shiva, awesome to talk to you. I'm a member. Anyway, it's just, what do you think of the Alex Jones deal with Musk?
What? Alex Jones doing what?
Just with Musk, they're going to Mars, which we've never been to space. What do you think about that?
Well, look, you got to understand. Yeah, so good question. I'll take the next call and let me answer it. Okay, thank you. So Andre's question is, what do I think about? Look, since the end of December, when I was put back on Twitter, I was, Musk, why don't you make me if you remember that, 30, 40 million views. And then I started exposing Musk for who he is, an agent of the government. So after that, we were put into a digital cage, but the existing old establishment media companies, Fox, CNN, they're going downhill. So the swarm who controls Elon Musk, where Elon Musk begins and where government ends, nobody knows. There's a wonderful blog post I did on that. Everything Elon Musk is done is at the behest of government. $6 billion he gets from SpaceX from government, okay? Twitter would not exist without Section 230 immunity from government. Tesla is only profitable because they got $1.5 billion in carbon tax credits from government, okay? Where Elon Musk begins and where government ends, nobody knows. So Twitter is a fake free speech environment. I'm allowed to be on there, but in a digital cage. 339,000 followers have been flat. And you can see when I exposed Musk, my reach started going down. And Elon Musk tells you free speech does not equal free reach, which is not what the framers of the Constitution ever envisioned. So he's a scumbag. Alex Jones knows that he's even worse because he knows Trump is full of shit, but he needs to sell his fucking vitamins. So David Knight said he stays quiet. So Alex Jones is set up as, he's some radical. Well, Alex Jones, it was absolutely fine with carpet bombing Israel. He said, Palestine. He says it. And then when he watches which way the wind blows and he comes back the other way, okay? Candace Owens, another scumbag pool. So what's happening right now in front of us to answer Andre's question is that the neo-media establishment is forming. Elon Musk, Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, Alex, they all hang out together, right? Glenn Greenwald, all of these guys are acting like they're against the establishment, but they're going to be the new media establishment. And whenever the new media establishment forms, they need the not so obvious establishment. That's where they're creating Candace Owens. She's apparently left Ben Shapiro, okay? So that's what's going on. And you're seeing it, but none of these people talk about building a movement. They're not going to want to slit their own throats. So they'll talk about being anti-establishment, but never about slitting their own throats, right? We want to build a bottoms-up a movement to, frankly, fundamentally shatter the swarm. Let me take our next call. We have someone from Minnesota. Who's this?
This is Will.
Will, how are you? What's your question?
I'm just wondering what you think of Jordan Peterson.
Total scumbag.
Oh, okay. I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah. So if you look at Jordan Peterson, just go look at his history. What was his position on vaccines at the time? Vaccine mandates. Everything Peterson has done, he comes acting like he's some, armchair, great academic. He's completely part of the establishment. He sucks up to Elon Musk. He sucks up to all of these people that we've talked about. He's basically playing a media game where he gets played. He's a grifter. He's a grifter Maximus. And go look at his balance sheet and where his income comes from, and you'll see it. He gets paid to grift. No one writes a book and becomes a bestseller unless you're part of the swarm. All right? That's what Peterson's about. But just go look at his timeline. When the shit hit the fan, he was promoting lockdowns. He was promoting the vaccine mandates. Now, after that, he acts like he's against it. Doesn't matter. You've lost all credibility. When the shit is hitting the fan, you don't have the brain power. If you don't know what the fuck you're doing, then you should be silent. But he was promoting exactly the swarm's agenda. But you got to understand, Peterson is absolute swarm material, okay? He sucks Zionist cock, by the way, okay? That's what he is. He's a Zionist cocksucker. What's wonderful about the Zionist cocksucker litmus test, it's almost like a litmus test. It's such a profound litmus test. It really separates the wheat from the chaff. And then another way you can separate the wheat from the chaff is, hey, are you going to put Dr. Shiva on your show? It's another one. And you can use those two litmus tests to triangulate who is real and who is not. It's a wonderful litmus test, but we have that litmus test now. Okay, you apply that litmus test and you'll get to who is with working people and who is against us. It's that simple. It is us versus them. Don't let anyone talk about some unity, fake unity. Okay. We have one more call. I promised 3. We have someone from, is it Texas? Hello, you're on. Hello, hello.
This is Zaid calling from Nevada.
Oh, what's your name, Zaid?
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. You're calling from Nevada. What's your question?
Yeah. So I'm originally from Minnesota, and the mayor Jesse Ventura became governor as an independent. What do you think of Jesse Ventura? Now I'll let you talk while I hang up.
Well, Jesse Ventura. So what happens is Jesse Ventura ran on a populist campaign in Minnesota, so he was elected a governor there. Jesse Ventura was hanging around with Booby Kennedy. Okay, apply the algorithm here. You can see, has Jesse Ventura denounced Zionism? Do you know if he has?
I don't really follow him.
Yeah.
Currently.
So
he's not very active.
Yeah, he's not very active, but he was hanging around with Kennedy. Okay. So you have to understand that it's not that difficult anymore to be quote unquote anti-establishment, because there's enough shit to be anti-establishment about. Okay. So working people have been abused by the far left and the far right fringe elements, and even now the quote unquote independent elements talking a lot of shit. But how many of them actually are getting on the ground, building a bottoms up movement? This is a litmus test. Does that make sense? So
yeah, absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? This is like where the rubber meets. You can talk all sorts of shit. Oh yeah, military industrial complex, it's horrible. Oh yeah, but okay, you're gonna help collect signatures to get us on the ballot. You want to hand out this flyer? Dr. Shiva's running. What are you gonna do? Oh, I love this video. What are you gonna do? Something? Well, that's the test. So I don't see. I mean, I've tried to reach out to Jesse Ventura. Nothing. Silence. So Ventura is listening out there. If he's for real, he should be supporting our campaign. He should be putting.
I totally agree.
Right. So call him up. Tweet at him. Tweet at him and tweet at me, and let's go after him. All of these people, given that we exist and our movement exists, if we didn't exist, we could say, "Oh, okay, poor Jesse. He's got to be silent." But because we exist, they're on notice now. You see, they have to act. And by the fact that they don't act, and anyone listening, go to all these people who literally steal my material and just recirculate it just to get views. And they're not shadow banned. Go ask them, how come you're not promoting Dr. Shiva? How come you're not promoting the movement? And so what they're doing is they're using our material to act like they're anti-establishment. But they're not out there handing out flyers. They're not out there collecting signatures. So no matter how much they steal our material, you have to look at, are they actually on the ground supporting us? And that'll tell you where they stand. They're more interested in grifting off of our material, not actually helping us. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, so in closing, I wanted to do 3 calls in the interest of time. Suresh, Bazin, any comments? Thank you to the questions that were just made here.
Yes, Dr. Shiva, quick comment. Don't take it personally, everybody who called. If you do not take action, your questions, Dr. Shiva says this, the government reflects people's consciousness, and your question shows what your consciousness is at. So instead of asking, what do you think about Jesse Ventura? I mean, Jesse Ventura, seriously, he's irrelevant, guys. Why are we asking about Elon Musk and who were the second person asked? The right question to ask, when you ask, Dr. Shiva, what can I do? How can I help from my state to get you on the ballot, to build this movement? That's when you get it. Unless you got to take action to get that experience and elevate your consciousness. Otherwise, you're going to ask, what do you think about this? What do you think about AI company? What do you think about this neural company, digital currency company? I'm so worried about this. What do you think about that? If you don't take action, your brain is going to be scattered. You're going to ask all these irrelevant questions. The right question to ask is, what can I do, Dr. Shiva? And I want to congratulate Saber for this great intro that you gave, Saber, your experience. I just got a text from someone in India who was with the movement early. He said, I'm on the broadcast. When a truck driver can overcome this overwhelming week and join the movement, I think I should have no further excuses. Please help me get back on track for Truth, Freedom, Health movement. The movement is more important. So thank you, Dr. Shiva, for this live stream.
Yeah. So yeah, I made a statement because we have a guy in our room called Bob Smith. Like, what do you see as the end state? And I said, Bob, don't you get it? The leaders in you who you've selected reflect your consciousness. It is our consciousness that reflects what's going on. So we're doing this video right now to elevate your consciousness. We don't have to do this. I could be watching a movie right now with Michelle, right? Suresh, you could be your wife. Sonia, you could be with your grandkids. Nicholas, you could be out partying. Boston, you could be with your friends. Saber, you could be with their, and Emily has a lot of work to do as a nurse. But we're here. It is a noble service to get you guys off your ass. So please don't ask these fucking dumb questions. Oh, what do you think about Jesse Ventura? The question should be, what do I think about myself? I've heard all this shit. You should be saying, Dr. Shiva, what can we do to help you now? And so if Saber, so we have a guy, and there are people come to our movement, and then they realize they have to do something, and then you don't see them anymore. So if Saber, who's driving his truck 8 to 10 hours or 12 hours a day, can also do this, you guys have no fucking excuse. Get off your ass, go to Shiva for president, and fucking help us. Don't ask dumb-ass questions. What do you think about Donald Trump? What do you think about Elon Musk? What the fuck do I think about him? He stole $200 billion during COVID. He was a nobody. 600 billionaires got $2.3 trillion. Why are you worrying about these motherfuckers? They don't give a fuck about you. Why don't you give a fuck about Saber? Why don't you give a fuck about Bazin? Why don't you give a fuck about Suresh? Why don't you give a fuck about yourself? Stop asking dumb fucking questions, because you're going to get nowhere. And maybe that's where you want to go. Maybe you're asking these questions because you want to be fucking lazy. And then you have to ask, why am I asking these questions? Because the swarm wants you to ask those questions. You're on robotic mode. You need to go tonight, and before you go to bed or before you wake up, I ask you to sit quietly, shut down all the fucking lights, observe your breath, and just observe yourself. And watch all the fucking nonsensical shit that comes into your mind. And you realize 99% of those are not you. They're just noise. So don't fucking ask me about Jesse Ventura. He's not here helping us. But you're here at, 11:51 p.m. watching this. So get off your butt. Go to Shiva for President. Go to Truth Freedom Health. You spend a shitload of money on other shit. Give us money. Give us your fucking money, and we'll give you courses. We'll give you books. We'll train you. We don't just take your money like Booby fucking Kennedy and puts it in his wallet so his wife can fucking get another Botox treatment. That's what they do. Seriously. These people are fucking ugly without all their fucking plastic surgery. They're very ugly looking people if you ever actually meet them. They have to get their testosterone shots. They spend a lot of money, guys, every month to look good. They're spending about $100,000 a month on their fucking beauty treatments. And I'm being fucking serious. If you met these people, they look disgusting. So stop being a dumb fuck. If you made it this far, get off your ass and fucking help us. Fight for us, our rights, working people. Don't be a dumb, lazy fucking American. Because the American working people are being made to be fat, dumb, and lazy. You have the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, all these rights. So the only way they're going to do this is the Zionist hoodlums want to make you dumb, fat, dumb, and lazy. That's the goal. Okay, yeah. Melania Christensen spends $100,000 a month for her treatments. And idiots out there, oh, Melania is the most beautiful looking first lady. Guys, are you fucking stupid? This is where your level's at. They just have various different plastic surgeons. Okay? You have no idea of what these people actually look like. You have no fucking idea. Everyone here, we don't do plastic surgery. They do. You think Donald Trump looks like that? Come on. He's got to put a lot of shitty makeup on. Booby fucking Kennedy. He's got, God knows if he has any balls left. He has taken so much testosterone therapy. These are the people you are asking about. Ask about yourselves. Ask about your neighbors. Get out of your fucking brainwashing. Our movement is here. We're here. You have no fucking excuse except that all you have to do is get a bumper sticker, make some phone calls, get off your butt, go help Saber in Michigan, go help Nicholas in Kentucky, go help Sonia in North Carolina, go help Emily in Tennessee, go help Boston in Washington. We're doing the work. Let's go do the work. Action, action, action. That's what this is about. This is a movement by the people, for the people. We are here. You have no more excuses. You can't whine. And really, really, before you go to bed or before you wake up, sit and ask yourself, why am I asking dumb fucking questions? What the fuck is the matter with me? Be self-critical of yourself. That's where it begins. Be self-reflective. You've heard 7 people on this phone call be highly self-reflective. Someone said, who's in Arizona? Well, Marianne Berry's in Arizona. So right now, Crystal will reach out to you. She'll DM you right now. Okay? Good question. There we go. First question. Good question. Congratulations. Okay? That's what we need. We need people. Any more good questions like that? Any more people actually want to work here? How many people want to work? If you want to help us, go right now to Shiva for President and get a bumper sticker, sign up. Okay? Ask some good questions. Ask some good questions, okay? Your questions reflect your consciousness. And I know you guys are smart, but you've gotten fucking lazy. You've gotten lazy. Oh, Amazon, I just ordered something, click, click. Oh, I'm going to get my next president, click, click. Oh, I'm going to get freedom, click, click. It's not how it works. You have to fight for freedom, okay? Someone says do fundraisers. No, we don't need to do fundraisers because labor is more important than capital. The elites go touch their nose like this. Oh, give me money, give me money, give me money. And then they take their money and give them to their consultant friends. We don't really need, to the extent you give me money, I give you books and stuff. So it's really fucked up. I can't take your money for free. I give you something. It's labor. Labor is more important than capital. At the point of production is where value is created. This is fundamental to economics. 90% of economists don't even learn this. At the point of production is where value is created. At the point that Sabre hands out a flyer, that's where value is being created. Us doing this is where value is being created. They take money and they go give it to signature vendors. That's what Booby does. He's not creating any value. He's just moving capital around his friends. You see, it's movement of money. There's no value being created. This is fundamental economics 101. Someone said, what's your first act as president? My first act as president would be 2 acts. One is all funding to Israel will be stopped overnight. Every fucking penny. Another thing is a backdoor portal to every social media company will be shut down. We restore speech. We restore back, American working people's rights. That's what's going to happen. And you will see. And the third thing I would do is shut down all funding to universities who have tenure. And I think that Harvard should liquidate itself and give, in fact, they talk about reparations. They should give all their money back to the Native Americans because they're talking about reparations. Harvard should just shut itself down. Harvard being destroyed will probably save the human race. Harvard and Oxford, 2 criminal organizations. You can trace every human crisis back to Harvard. Every economic collapse in any country can be traced to some professor at Harvard. These people are criminals. Good question. Anyone in Chicago? Okay. So, yes, we have many people in Chicago. Someone is going to DM you right now. Okay. We have people in Chicago. We have people we have Dustin Anderson in Chicago. Again, go to shivaforpresident.com and sign up. All right. We have 2 very non-lazy people today. Okay. Everyone's giving thumbs up. Great. Thumbs up. Take your thumb. Take your index finger, go to your keyboard and go to Shiva for President and sign up as a volunteer. Thumbs up is great, but use all 10 fingers and sign up. Okay? Someone said, get rid of Zion Nazis. Great. You too, go up, sign up as a volunteer. We need your labor. That's what this is about. What's that, Suresh?
We need New Yorkers. Any New Yorkers?
Any New Yorkers here? Any New Yorkers? We need New Yorkers to go to, we have 40 days left to collect signatures.
Might as well make it as an auction.
Yeah. Crystal says, someone send me these handles. Trey, send Crystal the handles of these people. All right, everyone. Go to Shiva4president.com. Someone said my finger is holstered. Excellent. Someone is writing from India. Thiruvananthapuram. Yeah. So if you're in Thiruvananthapuram, India, go to, truthfreedomhealth.com and sign up. Suresh and people in India will call you. No one, go to truthfreedomhealth.com, go to shivaforpresident.com. No one here, because I know you guys are fucking using your fingers all day to text. Go right here and sign up. You have no other thing. So that's what these lives are going to be. We're going to ask you to do something. We're going to ask you questions. What the fuck have you done since the last week you came on this live? All right, get to work. We need you guys to work. Working people work for themselves. They don't work for the swarm. Elena says, yes, New York City. So Elena, go to Shiva4president.com, sign up as a volunteer. Southington, Connecticut, James Ringrose. We have a great person there, Nicholas Rivera. Go to Shiva4president.com and sign up. Excellent. James Ringrose, add me as a friend. I can introduce you to everyone in Connecticut. That's Crystal Ellis on Facebook. All right, everyone. As always, Shivaforpresident.com, truthfreedomhealth.com. You'll find forms there to sign up. Again, Saber, Sonia, Emily, Nicholas, and Boston, you've all been very, very inspirational. Amazing comments coming in. All right. Thanks, everyone. Be well, be the light. And I'll close with our Shiva for President video. And you guys can stay on, and then we'll come back and sort of share how this went. Okay.
Who would have ever thought I'd be running for president of the United States of America? I was born a low caste untouchable in India's caste system, a system of aristocracy, oppression, and racism. My name is Dr.SHIVA Ayyadurai. I'm an MIT PhD, a Fulbright scholar, a scientist, engineer, entrepreneur, and inventor. My family and I left India to come to America on my 7th birthday. I grew up in the working class neighborhoods of New Jersey, playing baseball, mowing lawns, painting houses, and coding software. My friends and neighbors were blacks, Italians, Irish, people of all races. As a 14-year-old, I wrote 50,000 lines of software code to create the world's first email system and was awarded the first U.S. copyright for email, recognizing me as its official inventor at a time when copyright was the only way to protect software inventions. I did that long before I ever came to MIT, revealing that big innovations can occur anytime, any place, by anybody. Growing up, I saw politicians dividing us by race and religion, North America, to have us fighting each other while they remain safe in their gated communities and in their playgrounds of Hollywood, Martha's Vineyard, and Silicon Valley. I'm a fighter. I fought racism and exposed their imperialist wars, fought for workers, and put my life on the line against global corruption. I never wanted to run for political office. All that changed when I saw working Americans as never before being duped by the establishment and the not so obvious establishment. Across left and right, we were being sold out and made to forget why we came to America and why America existed. Lawyers, academics, billionaires, celebrities, and politicians, elites, Clintons, Kennedys, Bidens, Obamas, Bushes, black and white have hijacked America. They printed trillions for their friends. They delivered crumbling infrastructure, corruption, and racism. They transferred trillions to themselves, dividing black and white, fear-mongering, and fake science, lockdowns and censorship, dirty air, food, and water, pushing drugs upon us, making us sicker. We've been sold out. One set of rules for them and another for us. We deserve a warrior with a history of courage in putting everything on the line for you, who believes in you, not them, who has created a movement bottoms up for truth, freedom, health. I've exposed their lies at the right time, never waiting until it was popular. I've exposed their false gods who exist to lead you back to them. I've exposed their fake science of lockdowns and masking and provided you solutions to fight them and win and protect your immune system, saving millions. I exposed Fauci, galvanized the Fire Fauci campaign when others remained silent. When they stole our election, we sued the government and Twitter in our historic 2020 federal lawsuit, exposing in bare view the government and big censorship infrastructure, the unholy alliance between government and social media companies. Where was Elon and his grifters? They stood by the sidelines and did nothing. They did not use their megaphones to help us when it could have made a big difference. Now our movement grows for truth, freedom, health, independent of all of them. Every day, millions are learning the science of systems, the knowledge the elites do not want you to have, so you may learn how to think, stand up, and fight, independent of the establishment of left and right and their fake heroes. Now it's time for you to join the movement, to win back America, to win back truth, win back freedom, win back your health. That's why I'm running for president of the United States. This race is about you. This race is about truth, freedom, health versus power, profit, control. We've had enough. They think we'll fall in line and vote again for their lawyers, celebrities, billionaires, and chosen ones from above. We choose our heroes from below, from the rank and file, who do what is right at the right time, not when it's convenient and popular. They can never represent us. What America needs is a movement by the working people, for the working people, who are educated, organized, decentralized, and fight for independence from their systems of control. And that movement exists. It's ready for you. We don't need them. We need us to go bottoms up, neighbor to neighbor. My journey, your journey are all the same. It's our time. It's time we had one of us. It's time to win back truth, freedom, health, to win back America. Be part of this historic movement all the way to our victory on November 5th, 2024. If you're an American citizen, pledge your vote now for Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai, the independent candidate for U.S. president. No matter where you live, you can be a part of this. Volunteer as little as 20 minutes a day. Don't delay. This is Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai, and I approve this message paid for by Dr. Shiva for president.
All right, everyone. This was very successful. Thank you, everyone. Be well. Hold on one second, Sonia and everyone. I'm just going to sign off. Thank you, everyone. Get involved. Go to shivaforpresident.com. Go to truthfreedomhealth.com.
We need to build a bottoms-up movement. Go to shivaforpresident.com and volunteer.
there's two people in the back, two of her homegirls wearing like shiesty masks. I'm like, what are we doing? Where are we going? And she goes, we're going to go film the riot. We're going to Lake Street. And so we drive down there. Kmart is burning. Target is burning. Everything is on fire. She has the Sony A7. She gives me a microphone and she's like, go talk to that guy. And that was a guy with a Molotov cocktail in his hand who had just burned Kmart down. And so I go, what should I ask him? She goes, what's on your mind? So I walk up to him and I'm like, what's on your mind?
The following is a conversation with Andrew Callaghan, host of Channel 5 on YouTube, where he does Gonzo-style interviews with fascinating humans at the edges of society. The so-called vagrants, vagabonds, runaways, outlaws, from QAnon adherents to fish heads to O Block residents, and much more. He created